Commence standing by in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the League of Drinks podcast. I'm your host, Spencer. Today with me, I've got Damiascus, Thunder God, and Zarafix. We are the League of Drinks podcast. This podcast will be covering just the competitive side of the League of Legends scene internationally. This is everything from the wild card to Korea to China, the LCS, and the rest of the world. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, queries, please forward them on to theleagueofdrinks@gmail.com. Since this is our first episode, we'll be introducing ourselves and then going over the teams that are in the wild cards all the way through to Korea, China, NA, EU, and talking about everybody that's in the worlds this year. Danny, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, sure, why not? Name's Thundergod, and I'm gonna be covering the whole entirety of the EU LCS scene and how well they're gonna fare, at least in my opinion, how they're gonna fare in the whole world scene.
My name is Zarafix, or Kevin, as these people call me. I'm going to be covering the NA scene, the top teams in NA, and what to really watch for.
And I am Damiascus, aka Sean, as you guys might call me as, and I will be covering the Chinese scene, namely EDG, OMG, and Starhorn, and what they're going to bring to the table.
And once again, I'm Spencer. Go by Shinte in game. You can also find me under Vinyl Scratch. I'm going to be covering the SEA and the wildcard slots. This week I'm also be covering Korea, as we're down a man who would normally be joining us, is unfortunately dealing with some family issues. Kevin, what are we looking at in the NA this year?
So for NA, we have, as going from top seed to the third seed, TSM coming in at the top seed of the season, Cloud9 coming in at the second seed, and following just behind them was LMQ.
And Danny, how are we looking for EU?
So for EU, we have Alliance on the top spot. We have following right after them, we have Fnatic Esports. And then in third place, we have SK Gaming.
And Sean, how are we looking in China this year?
In China, we got a new team coming out. We got EDG coming out, also known as Edward Gaming. And following really closely behind them is the Starhorn Royal Club, which they've renamed from just the regular Royal Club, which showed up from the last season. And then right after that, in third place, we have OMG again returning for another shot at Worlds. And that's all we got for China.
Over in the Southeast Asia on the wildcard slots. Wildcards, we've got the Turkish team, used to be named as Legacy Esports, now going by Dark Passage. Really interesting team, kind of looking forward to what they can do. So we also have Kaboom out of Brazil. They actually took down Pain Gaming on their way in through. Pain, you might remember, was in the number 2 spot to try to get into Worlds last year. Didn't make it in the wild card. Little unfortunate. Returning again, the amazing Taipei Assassins out of Southeast Asia. They did such a great time in Season 2. Didn't do shit in Season 3. It sucks. It's unfortunate. Shit happens. Let's try something else this year. And AHQ. Let's see what they can do. Haven't seen much out of them. GPL, they did pretty well this year. Things could get funky. You never know what's really going to happen with the Southeast Asia guys. In Korea, so many things in Korea this year. God. We got Najin White Shield, Samsung Blue, Samsung White. Honestly, the picks to go to this year. If you're looking to make money off of teams, they're your guys. There's a lot of betting out there, people. Try to get in on it. Kevin, who are we looking at for top players out of NA this year?
Well, coming off from TSM, you got, Bjergsen coming in, and Wild Turtle. They've just been playing so well from the teams, and they've really been helping the TSM push forward into taking that first seed. Following along with Cloud9, their team is really well-rounded. They're if you had to point out one player that stands out a lot, it would be Hai, because he's, the shot caller of the team. He tells people what to do and when to do it. For LMQ, they're new to the scene, and they came from China. Their mid lane and AD carry spots, Xiao Wei Zhao and Vasily, they've been stepping up really well, really. And, yeah.
Awesome. So, Kevin, who's your pick for this year out of NA? Who do you think is going to make it a groups and go the furthest?
Well, I've always been a TSM fan. I've been watching TSM ever since, early Season 1. They've changed a lot, but I would really pick TSM out of the other two.
No love for Cloud9 or China 2.0 this year, eh?
No, sorry.
Alrighty. Danny, top players out of EU, who are we looking at?
So out of the entirety of the EU circuit this season, we have The MVP for the entirety of the playoffs this season was, in fact, Froggen. It's about time he finally, in my opinion, got recognized for his outstanding achievement every single time he's ever played. He's just really overall good, and it's nice to see he got a little bit of love. Top players, though, from Fnatic are Xpeke, of course. Everybody knows the infamous Xpeke rush with his Kassadin against Olaf.
He's backdooring!
Just the fact that was beautiful and it was well played. But and then also we have Reckless coming out on top for Fnatic. He's doing really really good, and like as an AD carry, you know how it is. You just got to be able to carry the entire team. He has done that this season for Fnatic, and it's interesting to see what's going to happen.
Alrighty. Picks coming out of EU. Who are you thinking about?
You know what? Honestly, I just got to say, I have a good feeling about Alliance this year. They have a team synergy that is just unique to them. They all play good. Overall, they have the highest team KDA in all of EU. So, if anybody doesn't know this, their entire team KDA, split between every single player, is 5. That means 5 kills per game for each of them, which is amazing. Even, like, that's even for the support, too, which is beautiful. But I really have a good feeling about Alliance winning it this year. Maybe not getting to finals, but at least to semis. That's my pick.
Alright. Sounds good. I'm liking the love. Sean, our Asian brother, how's the motherland looking this year?
The Motherland's actually looking pretty good. We got from EDG or Edward Gaming, we've got probably the strongest bot lane I've seen in a very long time, Name and FZZF. They're mostly known for their play style, actually, because Name is a really engaging AD carry, let's say, and he really knows how to position himself well to carry the team. And we shouldn't also just discount FZZF, because as a support, FZZF has done a lot in terms of team fighting, and he's really not afraid to go in, which really matches Name's style, and because of that, they have a really good bot lane synergy going in. And for Starhorn, you can't really talk about only 1 or 2 players from Starhorn. You got to give credit to at least 3. In this scenario, we have Insect, Korn, and Uzi, or Uzi, as some of the casters from China like to call him. But as you all know, Insect is one of the most mechanically well-known players in China, or coming out of China, and he's done a lot in terms of carrying the team, in terms of maneuvering around. And then one of the most unseen people, I would say, is Korn, the mid laner. He's really done a lot to carry the team as well, and has gone against people like Cool and Yu from Edward Gaming and has really put them in their place. So Korn is another player to look out for, and of course Uzi is another well-known AD carry that can carry the team. Finally, from OMG, we have, I think, only one person worth mentioning, and that's Cool, the mid laner. I think he's kind of hand in hand with High from Cloud9, as in he's really the center of the team and does a lot for it.
Would you say he's cool?
I would say he's cool.
He's ice cold.
He's ice cold. Ooh. And Sean, who are you looking at to come out of China to get out of group stages this year?
Out of group stages, I would say Edward Gaming and Starhorn. I feel like they both have really good chances of coming out and making some waves in the tournament.
All right, sounds good. For Southeast Asia, we've got the powerhouse of Season 2, Taipei Assassins. You really can't say much other than them. A lot of their older team has retired, has gone on to coaches. The one that's really stuck around and done really well, you got Bebe. Prime players right there. Baby's AD carry, just hilarious to watch. Wins, for God's sakes, he's the jungler. He is the jungler of OMG. He's the guy that made the plays in Season 2. You can't go wrong with this man having him around. They're a team to look out for. Hopefully they can make something work this year. I'd love to see them come again, get out of group stages again this year. It would just be hilarious to see them in the brackets. AHQ, out of the GPL as well. You got Prids, Nas, Westor, Garrett Devil, and Green Tea. Very interesting team. Alright. AHQ out of GPL. They did a great job flying through spring, coming in at second place in the GPL spring, coming in at second in GPL summer, and then just to finish it all off in the middle of June, in the end of June there, to get the regional finals going on to the championship. You really can't go wrong with this team. I honestly haven't seen a lot of them. I haven't had a chance to really watch a lot of their games. They're kind of hard to find. If you can find them, check them out. I've seen a few, and they're just great, great shows. The Turkish team, Dark Passage. They've just been on a rampage through the Turkish Champion Summers League, as spring and winter, coming in first right across the board. They also destroyed in the Riot Season 4 Turkish Championship, and in the International Wildcard Tournament, they 3-0'd. It was just an amazing time to watch. Top player off of them, I'd have to go with Naru, their mid laner. The guy is just hilarious. The amount of movement he puts into a champion is just crazy. Definitely one to watch. They're my dark horse out of the entire group stage, just because I'd like to see them do something and have some fun on the games. And then we've got Kaboom, the really unknown Brazilian team. They just kind of came out of nowhere. They snuck in, had a little fun. They defeated Pain Gaming. Some of you might have known out of the International Wildcard from last year. Defeated Pain this year in the regional finals. Made it all the way through. Did a great job. Seeing a couple of their games, Lep, their top laner, he's the tank. He is gonna go in. He's gonna fight anything. He will have no fear at all in these games. I gotta give him props. Korea, Najin White Shield out of Korea. They've been one of the powerhouses for a while. They're looking just great. You got Save, Watch, Go Going, Zephyr, Gorilla. They are some of the funniest players to watch. Really looking forward to seeing Go Going and Zephyr have some fun out there. Gorilla's a really amazing Lulu support. Down in Samsung Blue, you got the Korean League of Legends team out of there. You got Acorn, Spirit, Dade. God, you gotta love some Dade. And Heart. Their support. Out of Galaxy White, you gotta give Dandy his props. The jungler, he's confident. He knows what he's doing. He's utilizing those high accuracies of his non-target skill shots, which is just creepy sometimes. His J4 and his Elise are just great to watch. Back in Ozone, he was an amazing player to keep your head on a swivel. Those are my picks. Hopefully we can make something work this year out of the group stages. Really like to see Dark Passage move on. Other than that, you gotta give it to Korea. Like, let's be honest here, people. It's Korea. They're the picks. Everybody's gonna be going for them. You can't really fight a Korean. They're fun people. Coming up this week, we do have Group A and Group B playing out. Kevin, who do we think's making it out of Group A for you?
Well, coming out of Group A, you got the underdogs as the Dark Passage and AHQ Esports, and Samsung White Edward Gaming. Samsung White and Edward Gaming are more well known, and they seem, or in my opinion, they seem the stronger picks to choose out of the other two, but that's just me. And coming out of Group B, I really hope TSM comes out of it. They've been my pick ever since back in Season 1, and they've been my pick still today. And on top of that, I don't know, maybe just for laughs you could see SK Gaming coming out, but that's about it.
All right. So for my picks for Group A, I think it's pretty obvious who's going to come out of it. I think Samsung Galaxy White and Edward Gaming are going to crush the other two. But if I'm going to give a little bit of hope, I have to say that AHQ could pull something out. And they could potentially take a game off of one of them or two, or maybe two of them. But I wouldn't cross my fingers for that one. For Group B, I think one of the most obvious choices is going to be Starhorn Royal Club because they are a very solid team, and coming out of China, that means that they are also very mechanically good and sound. So I think that they are going to take first spot in that group. And as for second place, it's really going to be a toss-up for me from Taipei Assassins and Team Solo Mid. I feel like those two teams are going to get tied up maybe, and if I had to favor one of them, I would have to say Team Solo Mid because of just how their team has grown over the years and how sound the composition is. I don't think SK Gaming is going to do as well as them, but they could potentially do some damage to the other teams.
Danny, what are your thoughts on Group A and B this year?
Okay. Well, Group A, me personally, I haven't followed many of these teams in Group A, but according to like what I've actually researched into, Galaxy White, so Samsung Galaxy White, they have a solid team. I feel that they're going to come out on top here. Uh, as for how they keep on or how Sean keeps on talking about Edward Gaming, I don't know per se. I'm not, like I said, I don't know too much about any of these teams, but I feel that they're all going to do fine. But my main thing is totally on Group B because I know how all these teams play in this one, and they are all ridiculous. I personally think that in the shape that Taipei is in right now, I feel that they're going to come off the top spot in Group B and just barely skimming by, and it's going to be like a close match. It's either going to be Royal Club or Solo or TSM. It's not that I don't have faith in SK. They had a terrible showing last season. I'm sorry, they did. But the fact that they're back shows a caliber on how much polish that they put back into their team, and they are striving for it. But I don't see them getting any further than the group stages for Group B. But like I said, Taipei number 1, and I'm going to say, just for the sake of it, Royal Club is coming out second place in Group B. But those are my picks anyways.
All right. I'm gonna piggyback off your SK thing there and just straight up say I have no faith in them. But they've got such a long way to go still. My number 1, 2 out of Group B, TPA and Starhorn. TSM, I love them to death. They're the American All-Star team. They've been there from the very beginning. They just don't have the power to keep pushing. I'd love to see them do it, but I don't think this is their year yet. Group A, I gotta love my Dark Passage. This Turkish team has just blown my mind out of the games I've seen. Galaxy White's probably my number 1, Dark Passage number 2. Edward Gaming's probably just gonna crush Dark Passage, but I gotta root for my underdog. Looking forward to seeing what they can do. Group C and D, I'm looking OMG, Galaxy Blue coming out of Group C. Fnatic, I'd love to see them do really well. They are such a good team. They've been at almost every Worlds. They just got to get their shit together. It's been 3 years. Come on, Fnatic. Get back in there. Pull out of group stages. It would be awesome to see them again. Group D? I gotta go with Najee White's Shield and Cloud9. Cloud9 just dominating all the way through the NALCS. Alliance, they had such a rocky start that I don't think they're going to have the chance to get ready in time for these international teams. I love them. They're going to be great. Cloud9, Najee White, Shield, Group D. Those are my choices. Sean, how are you looking for Group C and Group D?
For Group C, I gotta hand it to, obviously, Samsung Galaxy Blue for the top spot. For the second spot, however, I'm actually kind of conflicted between Fnatic and OMG. They seem like both really solid teams right now. Especially, we've seen all the news on Reckless and just how much he's tearing through the Korean scene. It really is going to come down to who fares better in team fights between OMG and Fnatic. I do have some love for LMQ and how they've been playing recently, but I don't think that they can compare to OMG and Fnatic. If I had to go between them, I'd have to give the edge to probably Fnatic in this scenario, just because they've been doing so well to improve. For Group D, Kaboom, I can't really say much about them. Obviously, I don't really know too much about them. But for another number 1 spot, I'm going to have to say Najee White Shield, because the teams out of Korea are just looking really monstrous, and they've looking very solid with their play. And I don't think anyone's going to make them budge. If there's any kind of upset, it's going to come from Alliance, I feel, because of just how amazing Alliance have been playing recently, and just how well their team comp is established. And I'm unfortunately I'm gonna have to give the no-go for Cloud9. I don't think they have the skill necessary enough to overthrow Alliance or Najee White Shield. So I think from Group D, the two that are gonna come on top are Najee White Shield and Alliance.
All right. Well, for my picks for Group C, I'm gonna go with the Fnatic. You know, they've been around for at least 2-3 years of these, or not 2-3, 2-3 of these world championships, and maybe this year they could finally get, Chinte was saying their shit together and maybe get somewhere. But for my second pick, I'm gonna go with LMQ. They came into the NA scene and they exploded. They took the first seed and they were holding on to the first seed for a good while. And I think that if they could get like their minds into the game, I think they could probably beat anyone. For Group D, I'm gonna go with the NA again, Cloud9. They've been a really solid team. They haven't really changed their roster once they came in, so I don't see them changing it anytime soon. Their play as a team is just phenomenal. They just play so well as a team. It just seems that they're always there for each other, and you can always rely on Cloud9 to show up a good team game. For my second pick, I'm gonna have to go with Najin White Shield. For watching some of the games, I haven't really watched a lot of them, but some of the games I was watching, their mechanics and their team fighting overall is just outstanding compared to a lot of other teams you see. So I'm gonna say Cloud9 and Najin White Shield for Group D.
Well, see, for me, I have respect for Fnatic. They are one of the old Vanguard. They've been around for so long. But me personally, after what happened last year, they didn't bring it. I don't have faith in them this year. I should, because they are playing amazing. But in Group C, I gotta give it to OMG coming out on top. Last year, when they played at Worlds, I didn't know a single lick about them. When they came out, though, they came out swinging like a madman. It was probably on a little bit of crack. I could be wrong, though. But they came out swinging so hard. I love OMG right now. I think they're going to take top spot in Group C. LMQ, I really would like to see get second spot. It's a real toss-up again between Samsung Galaxy Blue and LMQ because they're both so sound with their mechanics and everything. I would say LMQ getting second place, but overall, Group C is just a tough one to actually judge. And then in Group D, I love Alliance. I feel that they have the potential to win. I really want them to come out on top spot. Cloud9, after what happens every year, every time that they come up to something like All-Stars or something like that, they get the hype train behind them. And then they screw it up early to the point where you just lose all steam out of them. They have been getting better and better because you got to remember, last year was their first showing in the LCS in itself, and they made it to Worlds, and it was their big stage debut. I give them credit. I feel that they're going to do fine this year, but maybe I'm going to say it's a toss-up between White Shield and Cloud9 coming into second spot. And like Sean, I don't know too much about Kaboom. I have faith that they'll do good. I'd love to see them be like OMG and just completely surprise me. And literally, I feel that C and D are going to be really tough fought battles.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns they want to bring up about Worlds this year?
I was just gonna bring up, how just at the end of the season, or just at the end of the LCS pretty much, TSM, they switched out their support. They used to have Glebe and now they have Lustboy from the used to be CT Blaze. Him coming over from Korea shows that, if anything, he could give them some sort of idea of how the Koreans are gonna play, so they could have that as their backup if they get out of group stage. So that looks pretty interesting to see what could come out from there.
Ooh, so Inside Ninja kind of shit. That sounds
Exactly.
fun.
Well, first things first, I got to say, congratulations to all the teams for making it. It was a hard-fought season throughout this entire split for each region, and from the bottom of our hearts, I take it, except maybe Kevin's, because he doesn't have a heart.
Has no heart.
Wow,
no heart
these are
whatsoever.
horrible.
But anyways, I'd like to say congratulations to the teams, and I would love to see how you all do, and good luck from all of us here.
Oh. And on
Yeah.
that sappy ass note.
Hey, you know what? It has to be said, right? It has to be said.
No, that was
We're
that
not-
was
we're not
beau-
gonna-
that
we're
was
not gonna
beautiful,
say,
Danny.
Oh, we're not gonna say, oh, guess what? We hate all the teams. Go to hell.
You hate all the teams go to hell.
We hate
That-
all the
that-
teams.
that was-
Go TCM.
That was beautiful, Danny. You should write a Hallmark card.
Oh man, you don't
But-
even know. I got that stuff in printing already.
From the bottom of my heart, I love you. Now go
From
to
the
hell.
bottom of my heart, have all of my children.
There we go. Has anybody been seeing anything off the any in LCS or any in EU LCS relegation tournament there? Anybody see any of that?
Well, from
Anybody see
the
that like
NA
disaster that was
scene-
almost CLG?
from the NA
Oh,
scene?
God.
Complexity lost to Team 8. Team 8 was has Odd One's younger brother, Maple
Ooh,
Street.
Maple Street.
Maple Street's back in the next season of LCS. Evil Geniuses beat out the new Team Coast, so they're gonna stick around. Also for the EU scene, Unicorns of Love beat out Millennium, so Unicorns of Love coming into the EU LCS as a new team.
Did you
Yeah.
see that Poppy play?
No,
That
The
Poppy,
Poppy
man.
play. Oh my God! They brought Poppy back to the
Me
LCS.
and Spencer were talking about this before the podcast. Poppy's just being a bully. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh, it was beautiful. Sorry, Kevin. Go on with the rest of the EU teams there.
Nah, that's all right. I know you don't
We'll
you guys
get
have,
into
have
that
that
later.
love for Poppy. Haven't seen it really in the play.
Hey,
so
Well, yeah,
The love for Poopy is real, okay?
yeah.
and
You
you
gotta
have
love
a
your
move
Poopy.
for Poppy, whatever you want to call it for you people. Look out for Unicorns of Love. They might bring it back in. Also from the EU LCS, SK Gaming Prime lost to Gambit Gaming, so they are not going to be into the LCS. So that's not a team you have to really look out for. But if you want to watch the challenger scene, they'll probably be there. But Gambit Gaming still holding their spot in the EU LCS.
And okay,
also-
going back to
sorry.
that CLG game.
Yep.
Did anybody see the Hecarim?
Oh man. Don't
The
even tell me.
Hecarim mid. It was just hilarious.
Here comes the solo queue.
Oh God, brace yourselves. It's gonna be Hecarim mid and Poppy. I
Boy.
am staying away from solo queue as far as I can.
Also,
You know
Unless I
what?
do it
Just
with
let-
somebody and somebody goes Poppy top and I'll take Hecarim mid.
Just live bottom lane. Live bottom lane and play support. That's all you gotta do.
I was just about to end off the scenes because I just found two more.
Oh, sorry.
The Counter Logic Gaming versus Curse Academy. CLG took down Curse Academy, so they're also keeping their spots in the NALCS. Also following it with the EU LCS, H2K Gaming. I've not seen or heard anything about them, but they did not beat Copenhagen Wolves, so Copenhagen Wolves will be staying in the EU or in the EU LCS. So yeah.
Awesome. You're a little roving reporter out of you, Kevin. Maybe he'll do something one day.
Yeah, maybe you never know.
Sean, do you got anything else to add on the before we file this off on a 30-minute podcast?
Go CLG. I believe.
Whatever happened to Gamania Bears?
Gamania
boy.
Bears is still alive in TPA.
Barely.
TPA
Guys-
have absorbed Gamania Bears' soul, and they're using it to fight
Hashtag barely.
in this season.
Come on. Hashtag Bear Leave. There you go. Bear Leave 2014.
Barely 2014.
All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been the League of Drinks podcast for September 13th, 2014. We hope to see you all next week. Thank you. Have a good day.